2021 is here. 2020 has came, went, left, died, but we're not out the woods yet. Let's just be honest. It may be 2021, but it still feels kind of like 2020, doesn't it? Right? You still got to wear a mask. You still can't go out to these super large gatherings like a crazy person. You still can't go to work like you want, unless you want to. We'll talk about that later. You're still working from home. You're still doing everything online. For me, I think this is the new way. Technology has finally caught up and has been thoroughly ingrained in our lives. It was thoroughly ingrained before, but now it has been the key to a lot of success for many tech companies out there, for many UX designers out there, because without technology, we would not have jobs. So shout out to technology, baby. Shout out to technology. Woo! I just want to say this, man. Working from home in the beginning. So in the beginning, as we all know, I used to be a freelancer person, and I did that on the side. It was kind of enjoyable, but I thoroughly enjoyed going into the office. I really liked interacting with different people, conversing with people in person. I really enjoyed that throughout my career and all up to the COVID problem. So like I really enjoyed, going to the office. I actually moved here to Duluth because I thought we were going to go into the office. 9 months, 10 months later, we're not in the office. And so I started off, my first UX job working in the office. First we were in Norcross, then we moved to actual Buckhead, and we were in the Terminus building on the 22nd floor. Great views. That's it. Just great views and brand new office. Just standard cubicle life, standard standing desk type of stuff, people all around you, hovering, watching you, et cetera, et cetera. Every top level executive in their freaking glass office looking like fish as you walk by, and, they're just watching you. Just very, very weird stuff. And you don't realize it's weird until you take a step back and say, like, why are we going into listen to this. I always say this to my wife. She thinks it's hilarious. I'll say, like, hey, babe, why do I live in a box, right? I go outside, I get inside of a box with wheels. I take that box, drive to another box, go to that box, go inside of that box, and then sit inside of another box. What are we doing? Why is this the way that we have to work? Why was this the standard way of working? I live in a box. Inside that box are more boxes. I even sleep on a bed that's in the shape of a box. My computer's a box. This freaking thing right here is a box. This is a box. You feel what I'm going? My phone's a box too. I just scratched my table. My phone's a box too. So, but I live in a box. I get in the side of a box with wheels. I drive to a gigantic box. I get inside of that box, and I'm sitting in smaller gray boxes, aka cubicles. Cubicles. Where's my stapler? Where is my stapler? Why are companies set up with this false sense of personal space? This false sense of personal space. They want to have this open concept deal, right? But they know that open concept can have its flaws. So what they try to do is they try to give you this false sense of your own private space by giving you gray dividers, aka cubicles. It's not real. And I think the good thing about 2020 is that we were able to actually take a step back, reassess, and realize like, hey, working in boxes and going inside that box and working inside of a smaller, grayer box is not worth it. It's not worth it at all, because people, from what studies have shown, from what I have personally experienced, is that I am way more productive when I'm inside my own box, my own personal box, my own real personal box, not this fake one that has been developed by these companies. And because of that, you are more comfortable. You don't have somebody breathing on your shoulder. Remember that creative director I talked about from years ago that sit on my shoulder and tell me how to move and click? There's none of that here in person. So with that, I feel like I'm way more productive because guess what? There are less distractions. Less distractions. What are you talking about? Less distractions, Eric? I have kids. I have a dog. I have this. I have that. True. I didn't say there were zero distractions. I said less distractions. Home scale it. Listen to the words. Don't interject. So what do I mean by less distractions? Well, when I was working inside those boxes with cubicles, you got your boss asking you for stuff. You got your coworkers around you asking you for stuff. You got people asking you to go to lunch. You got people asking you to stay late. You got people asking you to do last minute shit. You got people asking you to do this. You got people asking you to go to this meeting, go to that meeting, go to this meeting, do this, do that, all the other jazz, pushing and pulling everywhere. And about time you have time to actual work, it's almost time to go home. Well, guess what? When I'm at my house, my wife doesn't bother me. My dogs don't bother me because my wife does the dogs. I do the dogs around lunchtime and after work. So the only actual distractions I have are the ones that are being produced through email or a Slack or a Teams, right? And that is it. But also, if you get rid of all the extra nonsensical meetings that people have, you might have even less distraction, because that is one thing that is a pitfall of working remote full time, is that people feel like because they are not talking to you all the time, they're not talking to you 24/7, they're not in your freaking face all the time, that you are not being productive or you are not working or business is not moving. That is the opposite of what is actually happening. Because people think this way, they halt a lot of production. They halt a lot of progress because they feel like we need to have an hour meeting about everything. We don't need to have an hour meeting about everything. Sometimes you can do it through one email. Like, hey, man. Hey, there are a lot of companies assessing whether or not they want to go back into the office and do the whole box inside of a box thing. Because a lot of companies, for example, like Pinterest, like they had this whole lease that they had and they canceled their lease. It cost them like $90 million or something like that, right? But the interesting thing is that it was more cost effective for them to cancel the lease than to actually keep the lease. Think about that, guys. Think about how much money Pinterest would have spent trying to house individuals. Why? Why do we have to do that? Why do we have to be there? If we are in the age of tech and we're able to do everything through Slack, video calls, emails, etc., why do I have to sit next to you? I don't get it. Why do I need to sit next to you? Why do I have to be in the same building as you? Why do I need to see why?